So, with my busy work schedule, I didn't have a chance to review episode 6 of Adachi to Shimamura, so I'm combining episode 6 and 7 right now. Hey guys, my name is Maria Park, and this is Approach to Nerd. And in this episode, we are reviewing episode 6 and 7 of Adachi to Shimamura. This show just keeps getting more and more interesting. So episode 6 focuses on Adachi preparing for her Christmas date with Shimamura, because Shimamura has agreed to hang out with her on Christmas until dinner time, basically. And Adachi is completely gaga. I mean, in love at this point. I think it's interesting. Now, I am an LGBT member. I'm in an LGBT marriage, so I know one of the tropes about especially lesbians falling for each other very quickly, renting a U-Haul and basically starting a life. Sometimes that's very true. And I like the fact that I don't know the complete timeline of how long Adachi has been hanging out and lusting over Shimamura, but it doesn't seem to be relatively that long, and maybe months, and she's already gaga smitten in love. On the flip side, Shimamura, I kind of feel like in this series she makes so many connections to things so she doesn't have to feel like Adachi has a thing for her. Like, she finds excuses all of the time, and it happens again in episode 7, so I'll get to that in a minute. But so let's just kind of slightly recap. So Adachi asks Hino if she goes shopping with Shimamura, and when Hino said she's been a few places, and they went to this tea shop, and that Shimamura really liked this certain tea, but she didn't remember the name, but if she saw it or smelled it again, she might be able to point it out. So of course Adachi's like, hang out with me, go to the mall with me, and which for me is a really cool step to Adachi having a hangout outside of Shimamura, even though technically it was inspired by getting Shimamura the perfect Christmas gift. So but they do end up going to the mall. Interesting enough, Nagafuji did not come along with Hino, because it seems like they're really attached at the hip, but they still give me like citrus, vibes with Harumi and, Matsuri. I don't know what it is, but they give me those vibes of Harumi. I'm not sorry. But anyway, so long story short, they go to the mall. Hino's like sniffing all of these teas, and she finds one, and she's like, how mad will you be? And will you resent me if I think I have the one, but it could be wrong, basically, and this may not be it at all. And Adachi's like, I'm not that kind of person. So she accepts her, and it's like this African blend tea. And so she buys it. While they are still at the mall, she treats Hino to like a snack or whatever, and they happen to see Shimamura walk by with Nagafuji, and Hino kind of reacts and is like, oh, she had, Nagafuji said she had something to do. I see she's hanging out with Shimamura. It's almost sounded like she was suppressing like jealousy, but then she noticed Adachi, and I think that she kind of put 2 and 2 together that Adachi was bothered by it. But Adachi really is obsessed. So like anybody that spends time with Shimamura one-on-one that's not her, she is instantly jealous of. So that was an interesting situation. So the day of the Christmas meetup, God bless her, Adachi is wearing her Chinese dress uniform from the restaurant. And it's got to be like 30 degrees, 20 degrees outside, and probably freezing in there. But she wore it because Shimamura likes her in it and thought she looked cute. Girl's got it bad. And Shimamura, true to form, shows up, and they walk around, They do the thing where where Adachi wants to hold her hand, and of course, Shimamura is like, ask me before you just grab my hand, you're freaking me out, But she always says yes, and that's something I've noticed about Shimamura. Shimamura will rationalize all of the things that Adachi wants. So Adachi's like, can I just kiss your cheek? Yes. Oh, I like laying on your thighs. You can lay on my thighs. It's always just a rationalization. And even when she comes to the conclusion that maybe, just maybe, Adachi likes her, she still rationalizes it as, oh, this is just a friend's thing. So it's just so weird to me. It's almost like she doesn't want to admit to having feelings for Adachi, not because she's a girl, because she doesn't really basically admit to having feelings for anyone. Honestly, Shimamura's character to me seems depressed. She seems very depressed. As somebody who has depression and anxiety, and I'll explain more in episode 7 review, our portion, just the way she talks, the way she internalizes, the way she rationalizes and analyzes, she seems very depressed. So anyway, so they're continuing on their date, and Adachi, like the entire time, Adachi is like in her head, and she's trying to figure out how to say that she, likes / loves Shimamura. Like she plays out scenarios, and they play out a lot of scenarios in their minds. They get to the part where they exchange gifts. Well, Adachi gives her the tea. She didn't realize Shimamura got her a gift too, and that's why she was actually with Nagafuji. She told Nagafuji that her little sister, she was shopping for her little sister, and not for Adachi, which is interesting. I don't know why she felt the need to hide that, but she did. And she ended up giving Adachi a boomerang, and they were out there trying to use it, and I just thought that was a funny as hell scene. But Adachi was so happy she gave her something. She could have given her a quarter off the ground, honestly, or yen, I guess. And she would have been, oh my God, I must frame this because you gave it to me. So she's a very, very gaga. But when it came to her mustering up her courage to tell Shimamura, oh, I like you, she instead says, I want to be your best friend. Which I guess is fine. And, Shimamura is kind of looking like, what? Like, so she kind of gives Adachi, she always really gives Adachi hope. Now, if Shimamura was actually a straight character who was pacifying her friend, then I would say it was kind of queer baiting. But considering this is a Yuri, and I'm pretty sure Shimamura actually is having feelings for her, she just doesn't understand it. It's cute and painful to watch. It's like being that gay friend who falls in love with the straight best friend, and they don't have a chance, and you feel so sorry, but there's always those moments when the friend returns like some slight emotion, and you're just like, yay, you feel so happy for them, and you realize they're gonna get crushed. So this is kind of there are moments of this show that kind of remind me of that. So moving on to episode 7. So episode 7 starts with a very quick phone call. Adachi texts her saying, are you awake? Shimamura is actually studying, which I'm proud of. And she asks Shimamura if she can call her. They start talking. It's New Year's Eve when they're talking. And Shimamura basically tells Adachi, because she's laying on this stuffed animal pillow, bean pillow, whatever, and she hits it, and she's like, Adachi's like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm just thinking about your thighs. Adachi's like, mind blown. Stuff that Shimamura says, I don't think she really thinks through, but and she was saying, oh yeah, like your thighs, I like using them as pillows. And so Adachi's instantly like, do you like them hard or do you like them soft? I will work hard to maintain them the way you want. And she's like, it's fine just the way you are. I won't lose weight. Well, don't lose too much weight. It's so silly. And then they wish each other Happy New Year's. And then Adachi starts having inner monologue about Shimamura's boobs. I don't know why it progressed to that level. I guess new year, new level up, but she's just like, I won't say I don't want to see her boobs, but I'm not going to pursue seeing her boobs, but that's completely normal. And then she's like, wait a minute, that's not really normal. It's such a funny, her Adachi's inner dialogue to me is hysterical, and then Shimamura's is very introspective, and you feel yourself wanting to get in your own head. So Adachi's really struggling with her feelings and wanting to basically already get to the next level with Shimamura, and she hasn't even told her she liked her yet. And Shimamura is analyzing everything, saying, oh, well, Adachi wants to be her best friend, but my best friend. I don't really have best friends, but, if I told her that, she was my best friend, I don't know if it would be big enough, because, I feel like she wants so much out of this friendship that, I'd have to grow wings to fly as high as she needs me to fly. And I'm like, this whole thing, she's analyzing the hell out of Adachi, and it's very interesting. Simultaneously, there is a cute scene. There's two cute scenes, but there's one with Shimamura's sister, who's hanging out with Yoshiro, who she calls Yachi because she thinks Yachi is a fairy. She doesn't think she's an alien. And there's a point where there's like, her hair has like sparkles or glitter or whatever is happening coming off her hair. And of course, Shimamura's little sister says, "What is that?" And Yachi's like, "I actually don't know." And so her sister takes it upon herself to volunteer to find out because she got 100 on her science project. So obviously she can solve this, this fairy / aliens issue of not knowing what's coming off of her hair. So, Yachi's like, "You think you can do it?" And so, she she pulls out a string of her hair and ties it around Shimamura's little sister's finger and says, "You can't take this off until you solve it." And so now she's resolved to solve the conundrum of what is this coming off of her hair. And this entire series, Yachi is definitely an anomaly to me. I don't know what's going on with this character. Is she an alien? Is she a fairy? Is she just a lonely girl from a sheltered family or abused family? Or, maybe she's extremely rich and she ran away from home because she doesn't like living in the house. I don't know. It could be a lot of stuff. I mean, she could be wearing Crayola glitter, makeup, whatever. Or she actually could be an alien. So she's a conundrum. She really is. And all the stuff that's going, this coming of age, slice of life, Yuri drama, she is a conundrum because her character's so out of place with what's going on with the rest of this series. So, yeah, it's interesting. And then also, again, Nagafuji and Hino, they're back at the Nagafuji butcher shop and they're hanging out. And Nagafuji's just like, "Can I pick you up?" Like, what? And so she picks her up and then she drops her. She's like, "You're like heavier than I thought." And then she sits behind her and she's cuddling her and they're talking about Valentine's Day. And Hino's like, "Well, you just want chocolate." She's like, "Yeah." So they give each other chocolates on Valentine's Day every year. They are a couple and they don't even realize it. It's sad. It's really sad. I don't know if Nagafuji realizes she has a thing for Hino, and Hino obviously likes the attention, so she probably has it back, but they act more like a couple than best friends. So yeah, so that's my second couple. So Adachi has been avoiding Shimamura for a lot of February and I guess a lot of January, because every time she sees her, she gets flustered because, of course, she's been dreaming about seeing her boobs. So, she's like runs away. But finally, she, like close to Valentine's Day, she sees, I guess she's taking a risk. So she asks Shimamura if she wants to hang out after school, and Shimamura pretends that she's busy and it's a joke, and Adachi like takes it seriously. So Shimamura's like, "I really can't do that with you." So she agrees to go to get snacks. That's what Adachi, the guise of this hangout is, she's going to get snacks. So they head to the mall and they go to all these different stands, and Adachi keeps looking at these different stands that have sweets and that doesn't have what she's looking for. And at the same time she's also trying to grab Shimamura's hand, and she grabs her finger, and then Shimamura's like, "What?" Now they just had this conversation in the previous episode, don't grab my hand without asking, but Adachi didn't get that memo, so she grabs her finger and then she's like, "May I?" And so Shimamura's like, "Sure," and then they hold hands. And they're going from stand to stand, like they go to the donut stand. Then Shimamura asks if you just like Japanese sweets. She's like, "No." Well, they finally get to this one, and it has a poster, a Valentine's Day poster with like 2 little chocolate hearts. And that is why Adachi wanted her to go, because she wanted her to see that it's a Valentine's Day and that she wants to hang out and wants to exchange. Or I don't know if she got to the point in her mind where she wants to exchange chocolates with her, but I know she definitely wanted to give her chocolate, or she wanted to receive chocolates from her. So they're sitting down, and of course here comes Shimamura again, who is rationalizing, "Well, Nagafuji and Hino do this all the time every year, but it might be more complicated when we do it. I mean, what if I'm not with her again next year? What if after I graduate we never hang out? Or if we're in different classes next year, we don't see each other?" She's already putting like a time limit on their friendship, which is kind of messed up. But she also goes on to say that she's, very impressed by Adachi's determination to be close to her and all of that. And so that's why she agrees to do it. So she says, and she even asked me right before that, "Do you want me to give you chocolates or do you want to give me chocolates?" And Adachi starts to say, "Give me." She's like, "Oh, I think we can just exchange." And so that's basically what they decide to do. They decide to have a February 14th hangout where they exchange chocolates. But something interesting when I'm going back to the Shimamura depression thing, she has this like little dialogue where she says, you know, every day is just gray and bleak, you know, and now I'm getting a little color. So she's starting to open up more to Adachi, and I don't think she's realizing that Adachi is affecting her the way she obviously affects Adachi. So I really do. I want to know what happened. I want to know if something happened with her dad, if it was basically what happened with her one and only friend, who, by the way, we do see at the end of this episode. We get introduced to what I foresee to be the love rival, Terumi. This was the girl that was referenced by Shimamura, I think episode 2, where she's talking. Well, she's actually having an inner conversation where she says she had one really close friend that was very, you know, close and like, you know, basically her bosom buddy, attached to her, and that they kind of separated like later on, but they were really young, and that this was the same friend that kind of got distracted by my shiny stuff. Well, she meets her at Nagafuji's butcher shop at the end of the episode. So they exchanged numbers, and Terumi said, I'm going to call you when I get home. So the way she was talking, she even told Shimamura that she's gotten really pretty. I'm like, oh, rival. I'm like, yeah, love rival for definitely love rival for Adachi. So Adachi is going to be pretty upset when she sees this little, because she's already declared that she's going to be the best friend and eventually the girl who pursues her boobs. So this Terumi person coming in, I don't see this getting, I think this is going to be trouble. So it's been a really slow burn. I really think a lot of dramatic stuff is going to start happening with this love rivalry between Adachi and Terumi over Shimamura, even though Shimamura is acting clueless, even though I don't think she is. I think she knows. I often wonder if the reason Shimamura is depressed is because she had a thing for Terumi when they were younger, and she just abandoned her, and so she just figured friendships weren't worth it, relationships weren't worth working for, you know, yada yada, which is possible. But yeah, this series is cute. So I'm looking forward to episode 8. And I really want to know what's going on, honestly, with Yachi. Yachi is like such a conundrum to me. I don't understand her character at all. If anybody has any insight to that, if they've actually expanded that in the light novels, whatever, please let me know. Leave a comment below. And also, if you have any questions or any theories about what's going to happen with Yachi or with Nagafuji and Hino or with Adachi and Shimamura, please leave a comment below also and let me know. And if you would like to sign up for jury duty, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to know who's next in the nerd ballot, hit the notification bell. Until next time, I can't wait for you to approach the nerd. Bye, guys.
Thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate it, but hey, the party doesn't have to stop now. Click on one of these videos and keep it going.